Hello, my old friend. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Now you're probably wondering why I didn't start with the hey, what is up everyone? Well, because this time I thought it would be better to start off casual. I mean, this is the show that gave me my first few bit of subscribers. Back when I had about 30 to 40 views per video, the Mighty Bee hit 300, then 1,000, and then 3,000 easily, which at the time, again, was insane. However, it came with the price of being a very sloppy video, and I'm gonna make a follow-up to that particular video, and I'm starting to wonder if I really liked this show or if it was just something that I was neutral about watching. I couldn't put a finger on a favorite episode, and the few episodes I watched were decent at best or a bad Halloween special at worst. So let's take a look at Catatonic. Have you ever heard about the first scene being one of the most important scenes in a movie? Well, for this one time, let's apply that to this TV special. It's a jack-o'-lantern face. Now, when you ask the common person, and please spare your essay-long explanation about how you know about this in the comment section, trust me, I'm not gonna read all of it, the majority wouldn't be able to tell you where the origins of a jack-o'-lantern came from. Or it could just be a creepy face. Now, when you apply this to this cartoon here, what will you be in for? A TV special that honestly could have been Halloween, but really doesn't have to be. It could just be your paint-by-numbers holiday special. Now we get, oh my god. So this kid is pretty much paralyzed or crushed. Also note that this scout here, whose default is in her scout clothes all the time, changes her complexion based on mood. There's a few key problems I have with this TV special.
Peg leg or arm hook, or both. I mean, I don't want to over-accessorize.
The first problem, the jump cuts are abundant. Now, another tangent or side rant, I'm probably gonna get Alva J is a stylistic choice, so it's okay. But just because something is a stylistic choice, therefore intended to be whatever it is, does not mean that it is free from criticism. In fact, I would make the argument that it's actually better to criticize the explicit and intended. It's logical to believe that if I don't like jump cuts, then a show that uses jump cuts as a stylistic choice would have points taken off for doing so. I wouldn't base my entire opinion on the animation quality of an episode. But if something cannot be criticized because it was intended to be that way, or because it was a stylistic choice, then Pickle and Peanut shouldn't get those criticisms. 12-Ounce Mouse shouldn't get those criticisms. And even on a character basis, Fanboy and Chum Chum shouldn't get those criticisms. And on an episodic basis, House Fancy shouldn't get those criticisms. Yet we do it anyway, because it's only logical to do so. So yes, I don't like excessive jump cuts. From an animation standpoint, with the same amount of distance from point A to point B, the amount of time it takes for an object to reach their destination determines how fast the viewer perceives that they are moving. And for good reason. When a character zooms off screen, do they take 2 seconds or 2 minutes? Now you're wondering why this is such a huge tangent. Well, I won't bring this up again, so just assume that any other jump cuts you see take away from the cartoon, and it was not really a positive aspect of the cartoon, in my opinion. This dog here is named Happy, and Happy's job is to play the visibly annoyed. So Happy, for the most part, will play visibly annoyed. This will sound like nitpicking from the outside looking in, but do you see how Happy has the intelligence to have a preference between a hot dog outfit and a parrot outfit? Remember this.
Parrots are incredibly smart birds. They live until like 100.
Yeah, Morty, you should probably wear that parrot outfit. So Bessie hears the mailman reluctantly ring the doorbell and satisfies his paranoia by ripping his arms off. Honestly, there isn't anything wrong here. I don't really mind the cartoony aspect of this show, and I love shows that go for the cartoony aspect, if executed correctly. Now, Bessie doesn't get the pirate suit that she prepared for, she gets a cat suit, which the episode's title would make you think. As she rants and raves, Happy is getting noticeably angered by the cat suit. The first time I watched it, I didn't think that the cat suit was made out of actual cat fur. When you think about it in that light, since cats are not big naturally, domesticated ones anyway, that's pretty disturbing. Now, I know what you're gonna say in the comment section. JJ. The cat suit represents a cat, and it doesn't have to be made of fur. The mere presence of a cat is enough to trigger Happy's canine instincts. Then fine. Keep that in your mind for later.
I know your history with cats. They will not take this thing back with a bunch of bite marks and dog slobber all over it.
It also kind of didn't help that you tore the boxes to shreds earlier. But okay, as I said before, I like the cartoony aspect of the show. It is particularly highlighted here, where Bessie goes through each outfit and it keeps the somewhat fast pace it aims for. It did take me a second for the serial killer joke to register, which honestly was pretty clever, just like how the chimney sweeper joke is pretty okay. We get introduced to Ben, who will serve a large role in this special. He's playing the annoying child. which honestly is okay, because his character is to be annoying for Bessie, because he's also like Bessie, in the sense that he's very strong-willed, passionate, stubborn, and persistent. However, none of these words are synonyms for jerky, because his entire shtick is to launch plungers under the defense that he's playing a character named Ben Bow, an action hero. He launches this plunger with the power of Chuck Norris because it goes around town before launching back at Bessie, smashing her face into the mirror. Also, Bessie's comment about domesticated animals and her deadpan look implies many things. None of them I wish to comment on. Now, I do enjoy a good child smashing into the wall as the next guy, but let me ask you a question. Considering Bessie already got hit in the face and slammed into the mirror, what purpose does this scene serve? You should keep that question engraved in your head, like Bessie's newly pressed cracked wall bruises. Hey, Happy, you shouldn't be licking Bessie's face as if you care, because dogs hate cats. And that's a cat suit. So because Bessie accidentally received a cat suit and is in this cat suit and is looking in the mirror while in this cat suit, she becomes a cat and fully believes that she's a cat. Now let's go back to the previous question. Was it necessary to have Bessie's head smashed again after the first time? No. No one at home would be confused if Bessie's head was smashed in twice instead of 6. And it serves as filler, as well as many other parts of this TV special. So Happy is offended and thinks that Bessie is a cat now. I'm not sure why he thinks this, considering that he was just sympathetic for Bessie a short while ago, and irrationally or instinctively angry at the cat suit before that. Is it because Happy loves Bessie more than he hates cats? Well, let's see. I hope you don't hate royalty-free, stocked, overused cat noises, because that is pretty much all of this. And you know Bessie's making meow noises as well, but let's check off that cats are irritable, trash everything, and are shy right off the bat. No reason to talk about this in detail. It's your typical cat cliches. In fact, what's the #1 cliche about cats? Let me look through the SpongeBob catalog real quick. Yes, Gary takes a bath. It does what this scene does in a longer format and much more entertaining. I shouldn't be disinterested in a scene halfway through, especially if it's a part of your comedy. This scene is a part of many that are just simply too cliched to care about. So Bessie the cat runs across the hallway and Happy chases after.
He just saw a stray cat! A cat? Keep it away! I'm allergic!
Alright, so let's talk about this particular scene here. Now, raise your hand if you believe that Bessie's cat suit is real. Now, raise your hand if you believe that Bessie's cat suit is fake. Now, clap because you're not crazy and you didn't raise your hands because the device told you to. Now, first of all, if you did any of those, you really need to get out the house more. If the suit is real, then this is disturbing, but Happy and Bessie's mother would be justified. However, unlike this episode would imply, this is a slice of life cartoon, which means that this should be realistic, and the cat suit is fake. And if the cat suit is fake, then Bessie's mother is faking. Also, she hears the screams of Happy, but not the screams of agony. It's almost as if she has selective hearing. Also, if the cat suit is real, and she only started sneezing now, it's almost as if she has selective allergies. My point is, if they can't get the little things correct, then there's a chance that the bigger things aren't correct as well. Then we get one of the slowest parts of the episode, where the episode basically takes you through an experience with your cat, or cat girl. It's slow, and that reminds me, it went from 3 minutes of derping around to 2 minutes of straight cat noises to a good 1.5 minutes of cat videos. And if I wanted cat videos, I would have waited a few years. I think the internet over-delivered on that one. Now, let's play Guess How Serious This Doctor Is. I genuinely feel that this doctor believes that not only is Bessie a cat, but Bessie's a human as well, just in a cat suit, because they show information that would lead you to believe that either way is true. At first, the doctor feeds Bessie cat food. Should be a dead giveaway that he thinks is a cat, right?
I didn't sleep through 3 half semesters of medical school for nothing.
SpongeBob, Family Guy, Pickle and Peanut, The Amazing World of Gumball is becoming a cliche nowadays to have an incompetent doctor. Do you really want to subvert my expectations? Try having the doctor be competent. Just a theory. Then the doctor explains through his experience through not only medical school, but being a normally functioning human being, that the cat is unusually large. Whoa there, I wouldn't want the kids to be confused by your medical jargon here. But if you want to derp around like a kitty for 20 minutes, then go ahead. We'll see what episodes we will remember of you in 10 years. So Ben is slow to the punch, but the doctor at this point in time fully believes that Bessie is a cat. Never mind the fact that abnormally large beings in general are usually a yellow flag for something being wrong, hence the term abnormal, and also that cats don't really wear glasses.
She's not a real cat. You could cause a major identity crisis. No, you simply must let her work it out at her own pace.
Work what out? I thought you stood firm that Bessie's a cat. So if she's a cat, like you said, there isn't anything to be worked out. Unless you believe that this is a human and a cat, and you're just playing along, being a jerk to people for no reason than some personal selfish benefit. Let's also chalk up the disturbing factor that he held Bessie in a way that you would hold a cat, and Bessie's only a child. So Ben snaps and tries to pry off the suit like any normal person would do. So they try this very cheap tactic of having this big car be played by a kid playing a car. Honestly, if I was like 3 years old, then maybe this would have been interesting, but it's clearly a way to get people to stay after the commercial break. Maybe, just maybe I would have been able to hand wave this had the car been significant. Then we have Happy as a dog, spanking his own hot dog bun. So this is why you wanted to wear this Halloween costume, wasn't it? So Ben has to take Bessie back home, past his mother, and let me just say this part is also extremely boring. All this amounts to is boring talk, trying to get Bessie to turn back to normal.
Look at me. I'm Bessie Hickybottom. I'm a honeybee. Ooh, badges. I live for badges. All I care about is badges.
Wait a minute, this was supposed to be an 11-minute episode, wasn't it? The amount of filler in this is astounding. So the plot finally decides to pick back up when Bessie's mother wants Bessie to set the table, because according to this episode, she sets the table every day at a set time. So as Ben is disturbingly dressed as Bessie, he decides to take one for the team. Now I'd like to be at least a little bit honest and say that this part isn't actually that bad. I particularly like the sequence of Ben finding out that Bessie, who he threw into the closet, ended up escaping, and he rips off the hinges of the door to see exactly how she escaped. In my opinion, that was actually pretty funny. So as Ben crawls through the ducts to try to get Bessie the cat, Happy has a slightly unjustified meltdown, and let's talk about this little progression. It isn't a progression. At first his lid was already off, then he progressively handled his aggression better and better, which honestly is the exact opposite of how you'd want to portray a character who's suffering or handling self-control poorly. So Happy decides to excuse himself, and he hears Bessie in the air ducts meowing, which echoes across the room that he's in. Fast forward a bit because all this is building to the obvious. So Happy pretty much releases his inner dog, making what is a pretty okay action scene. Like I said before, the jump cuts and the same cat noises bring this down and ruin what could have been a pretty good action sequence. This comes off as less what if Bessie was a cat and more like haha, Bessie's a cat, which honestly does nothing for the show, nothing for the viewers, nothing for the characters, and nothing for a medium. We get it, body swaps are not a bad concept, but when you add in the factor that the show initially did not do much to separate itself from its cliches, it shouldn't get really any sympathy. They add in these mice. No one cares. These mice are a red herring to the stretching of the plot. Maybe if the mailman came back into any of this. Maybe if the scout with the pumpkin came back into any of this. Maybe, just maybe, it would seem a lot more cohesive. So Happy and Bessie eventually find themselves back home. Ah, good. I was concerned that the head trauma quota was low. People wouldn't understand the point if you hadn't just left it with the heavy pumpkin smashing over someone's head. They need that visual cue, which would have never insulted the demographics intelligence. Well, since she's dressed like a witch, she turns into a... you know. So as Happy mutilates Bessie, Ben makes a full circle around with his outfit and smashes Bessie's head against the wall again. Head trauma can only be solved with more head trauma. So Bessie is back to her normal self.
I really believed you were a cat.
Huh? What do you mean?
I will spare you the following, it's a non-ending. Basically, Bessie's mother, who recently turned into a witch, scares the kids and it ends on a Halloween message. It's not really special. The episode had good intentions, I'm aware, but between one half being a lackluster plot and the other basically taking you through an experience with your own cat, or a very cliched view of it, I cannot give it much sympathy. Happy was very confused and written poorly. Bessie's mother could have been written out of the story without any problems. And the doctor made it very clear that the story does not know if we should treat Bessie as a cat or a human in a cat suit. So happy Halloween as I sit back and pull a couple more all-nighters to finish all these specials that I planned. The life of a YouTuber. No, that's not a good ending. I need a good ending. Looks like this Catatonic is a catastrophe. I hope your time is well spent. And Alpha out.